So, let's talk about building your dream life. Most people I talk to usually want more money, time, and meaning, but they don't know what kind of business they should build. And this is something that I wish I asked myself when I was building my business and also when I was just thinking about it as well. Like, I wish I knew the stuff that I'm about to tell you. You might hear start a side hustle, build a personal brand, but no one breaks down what the different paths are and how to do it. And I'm gonna tell you in this video the different paths. And if you're interested, comment and I will break them down into more detailed videos. There are so many more paths that you can take than you might know. And when I was, 18, 19, I didn't know what was out there. I didn't know all the different paths. So let's talk about it. So obviously you can get a job, a 9 to 5, don't really need to explain that. Or maybe you might want to be a freelancer. And what a freelancer is basically you have skills and there are clients that want your skills. Usually it's a project by project basis. So this could be social media management, this could be web design, this could be graphic design. If you have a skill set that you know someone else needs, then you can monetize that. So you might use Upwork or Fiverr to look for clients, and it's relatively straightforward. It's just you can work where you want, when you want, as long as you deliver results, don't have a team, and it's more flexible. But obviously with just you, your time is limited. So if you wanted to go to, I suppose, a bigger level, you might consider an agency. And what an agency is basically you start hiring people, start building a team, start creating systems so that you can make more money. And maybe you might focus on a particular area, for example, client acquisition, and allow the other freelancers, I suppose, within your agency or your team to deliver the service to your customers. With an agency, you can keep growing that until you hit a stage where, you know what, I actually do want to bring on an investor. I want to bring on outside money to help me get to the next level and hire more people. You can even sell that agency at the end. I think it's important to think about the end goal, and it's something that I didn't really think about early on. But also, if you're 15 to 18, you have so much time on your hands. It's just, just go and try if you're not sure. But if you are someone who's, I suppose, an old soul and you're kind of very clear on what you want, or you're in your mid-20s or 20s, then think about the end goal as well. So that's the difference between freelancing and an agency. You might hear the word side hustle and portfolio career be thrown around a lot and want to know what is the difference between a side hustle and a portfolio career. I'm just sharing my point of view. So pretty obvious, a side hustle is something you do on the side of your main thing, hustle. So maybe it might be a 9 to 5, it might be you're in business, but you have maybe a side business aside from your main business, or you're freelancing on the side of your main job. And I see the difference between a side hustle and a portfolio career is that over a side hustle, you own that. It might be your own side business, for example, whereas a portfolio career is kind of more like, I've got a set of skills, maybe I'm hired to do marketing at one company, but I'm going to also be hired by another company to do the same thing, or maybe something a bit different under my skill set, and do it on a more consistent basis, like an employee. So with freelancing, it's more like project by project, sometimes obviously consistent depending on your relationship with your client. When it comes to portfolio career, it's kind of like a long-term ongoing thing, unless you're let go, I guess. So for example, what's really popular nowadays is fractional CMO, fractional CFO, fractional CTO. CMO means Chief Marketing Officer, CTO is Chief Technical Officer, CFO is Chief Financial Officer. And I think that this is going to be the future of work. It's why I work in a company that talks about this, and I talk to a lot of people my age, and they're all doing multiple things at once, or they don't plan to stay in a company for 20 years. And I love the idea of building a portfolio career or a side hustle, or just doing more than just one thing, because you learn so much, you gain different perspectives, you understand different industries. It's fun if you're a workaholic and have no life like me. Anyways, back to you might hear people talk about, build a personal brand, be a creator. I've tried so many different models in my life, and I'm 24 at the moment. Oh my gosh. But I would say I'm like a fractional creator. So I am building a Series A founders personal brand. I also have clients on the side, and I help essentially founders build their personal brands. And I spend a lot of time on this. And I try my best to create content. Now I'm really looking to build my own personal brand and looking to start to put more out there and do it when I can and use my time better. Presents. So yeah, if you're someone that is more creative, you are not afraid, or you're willing to put yourself out there and also just share what you learn and, film yourself, videos, something like that, that could be really good. You could monetize it all kinds of ways. Build a course, education program, link it to your business, link it to someone else's business. I'll probably go into this in other future videos. If you're interested in that, let me know. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited just to talk about this. And there's someone that I know that's an influencer, and he gets brand deals, brand partnerships. So if you want to be an influencer, then that's also an option. Building a personal brand doesn't mean you're an influencer. A lot of people feel like, oh, you're building a personal brand, so like, you have a big ego. You're just trying to be an influencer. Like, that's the thing that I get quite a few times. Like, I want to build a personal brand, not really because of me, but because I've got just so much stuff in my head. I've got so much experience through like, everyone has so much experience, but I have a lot of experience, and I really want to share as much as I can to the world. I want to share what I know. I want to share the stories. I want to share, people that I talk to. I want to share other people's stories, because I meet people that have amazing stories, but they don't share it to the world that could help someone else. That's why I'm so passionate about this, and that's why I love doing this for a living. But again, another rant, another video. But don't feel like there's two reasons why people don't create a personal brand, even though deep down they want to. And that's because they're scared that people are going to look at them and be like, you have such a big ego, or you're doing it just to like show off. Or the other one is like, they just don't have the confidence to do it. And I would say that building a personal brand is not about you. It's about the person you want to help on the other side. If I think about my younger self, girl, I just, I want to share everything to my younger self. I really want to save my younger self. I'm always like, if only you knew this when you were this age, you would be here. And you're giving to your younger self. See it that way. Or maybe a different audience. But anyways, I'm not going to go too deep into this, because this is a long video. Next thing you want to think about is, what kind of life do you want for yourself and maybe your family or your future family? Because if you want to build a business for your lifestyle, that's different. Do you want to prioritize your life, or do you want to prioritize your mission, building a business? Because, well, I can't say it that way. Obviously, you can integrate both. But having been on both sides, lifestyle business, building a course program, to also working with a lot of founders, now working at a Series A company, and just following the CEO around every single day, just seeing how he works, it's just whoa, there is a really, really big difference. And the pressure is different, the expectation is different. And I can go quite deep into this, but again, this is sharing every kind of different model, so won't go too deep into it. But let's talk about lifestyle business. If you think about maybe Ali Abdaal, for example, he talks a lot about building a lifestyle business. It's essentially thinking, okay, what kind of lifestyle do I want? How much money do I need to sustain that lifestyle? And maybe you don't want to sell your business. Maybe you want it to be simple. Maybe you want it to be sustainable. But most importantly, you have to be profitable as well, obviously. So you can do it in all kinds of ways. You can do it by yourself. You can do it, you can build a team. And you don't have the pressure to, if you want to take a day off, you can take a day off, things like that. If you have a strong mission to change the world, to disrupt an industry, maybe to work in the tech space, although you don't necessarily have to raise funds from a tech space. But if you feel I'm going to need a lot of capital and resources and network to really get my vision off the ground into something, then maybe a venture-backed startup type business is for you. Now, there is no such thing as free lunch. in any situation in life. Like, I just never don't believe in that. People always want something. So if you are getting money from outside, 1 million there, 2 million there, 3 million, 4 million, 20 million, they want their money back and interest. I suppose building a lifestyle business, you are the boss, although at the end of the day, the clients are always the boss, but you are the boss in a way. When it comes to a VC-backed startup, the investor is also the boss. So it becomes, there's another level of pressure. There's additional pressure. You've got the pressure from your clients and you've got the pressure from your investors. The priority would be a bit different. That, for example, in a lifestyle business, because you're relying on your own revenue to sustain yourself and everything else, your priority is to make sure that your customers are very happy, because it's all about, increasing the lifetime value of a customer, right? If you make a customer happy, they're going to come back again and again, hopefully. And when it comes to a VC-backed startup, investors want growth, because the way an investor is going to make their money back is when you sell the company and they get their returns back. So growth and valuation is important. And sometimes that means compromising on customer experience. So, it's all about how am I going to get the next batch of new customers into my company. And because of limited network and resources, that might mean that your existing customers are not getting the most out of the experience that they could have. And that's just because of the investor pressure. So, founders have to do what they have to do. Everyone has to do what they have to do. You might be interested to build a Saas or a productized service. So this is about taking a pain point, building a tool or a system for it. Maybe Notion templates or, AI automation systems, templates, things like that. Maybe you want to create a consumer brand. So this is, maybe your own water bottles, your own backpack, your own coffee, your own tea. I really want merch one day, but eventually. So that's about, I don't have too much experience in this, so I'm not going to go deep into it, but it's pretty straightforward. Obviously, you're going to spend time on building the product, but once people like it and then you just focus on sales and marketing. Of course, you keep iterating and improving the product. What if you don't want to build your own thing from scratch? You don't want to disrupt an industry. You just want to have a business that works and you just want it quick. Franchising and white labeling. So the way I see it is that you've got kind of level one where maybe you don't have money yourself and you want your own business, then that's like freelancing and self-employment. Freelancing, agency, startup, Saas. Consumer brand, you probably need a little bit of money because it's like building a product like water bottles and things like that. But if you have a little bit more money and you want things a bit quicker, then we can go into franchising and white labeling. So what a franchise is think McDonald's, Pret, Starbucks. These companies have brands that are well known already. People just know them and trust them. And that takes a lot of time to build. So if you franchise a business, let's give an example. Let's say McDonald's. If you franchise McDonald's, everyone knows McDonald's. You don't need to build it from scratch. Amazing. They then will give you a playbook on all of their systems, how they do things, their rules, everything. And all you need to do is just copy and paste that and just run the business and obviously hire a team and manage a team and everything. And this would be good if you don't really care about adding your own spice to the mix. Yeah? Yeah?
Oh, you're filming.
Yeah. Oh, bye-bye. It is restrictive though, I would say, because they have such a strong brand, if you don't follow what their playbook is, then and it affects their brand, then I don't think they would be very happy, So yeah, basically you have to follow their rules, their tone of voice, everything. They give you everything, pretty straightforward. You can't do what you want you can't add your own thing and things like that. You just have to follow their stuff. And then if you want a balance, a middle of that, White labeling. White labeling is where you can leverage someone else's team and credibility to build your own brand. So it's more creative and more freedom than franchising. You still need to put in more work to build that trust with people because people don't know you. They don't know your brand. So, for example, let's say there is a video agency that you want to white label. You can white label the video agency and put on, I don't know, Panda Studios. And you can sell to clients, say, hey, this is Panda Studios, and we help you do video editing. And people pay you, and you pay the white label partner to do the service. And you could just do it that way, very simple. Or you could then build your own team and maybe do writing and then say, this is Panda, what did I say? Panda Agency, Panda Studio. This is Panda Studio. We do video editing and we do writing. And the client pays you to do both video and both writing. So you get paid on your own work, writing and everything, and you pay the white label partner whatever their margins are or whatever you agreed on. So this is good because you don't need experience in this. So you can go and white label a video agency and then go, and if a client, a prospect says, can I see some examples? You can leverage the examples of the video agency, even you have no idea like how to edit videos. So that's a cool model. Some people that white label their business might charge for it. Like you might want to pay for either white label or pay for a license, kind of like the same thing. Or they might offer it for you for free because they also need help and do like a rev share agreement. Because some people, all they care about is money. They don't care about the brand. They don't care about, fame or anything. That's why white label does really well, because people just care about, okay, I just want more money in my business. If this person's saying they can go and sell my service and use their own name, then cool. Works for me. Before I talk about like the next level, and that's like acquiring businesses, I just want to talk about venture studios and holding companies. So you might be like, I built a business before and I want to do more. Or maybe you might be like, I haven't built a business before and I want to build multiple. And you can do that through building either a venture studio or a holding company. And the way I see the difference is, well, they can be different and they can be different and they can be the same, because when it comes to venture studios, there's also many different models within the venture studio model. Some have an investment arm, some already have funding. They've raised money as well from outside investors into the studio, and some offer one thing but not everything. But to give a general definition of a venture studio is it's a startup factory. And what it can do is it can quickly build products. It can quickly validate, validate market demand, build the product, ship the product, and, scale the company. So they have everything. So they have marketing teams, they have technical teams, they have legal team, finance team, they have the distribution side done. I think with AI, we can build tech really, really easily. And the differentiator of venture studios is the distribution, and they have a lot of really good operators within them so that they can build and scale multiple companies at once. And then a holding company is basically you've got like a parent company, and then you have a few, I guess, they don't call it kid companies. I'm just going to call it kid companies because it's easier to explain. But you've got like small companies below them. Now you can do it all kinds of ways. Some people will build multiple companies that complement each other. Some people just build completely different companies that are under the holding company. So I would say, yeah, that's that. Some venture studios already have funding. So what this means is they might invest money into a company that exists outside the venture studio, but then spend that money on the services that they have. Or they might basically invest in a company and they will help scale it themselves, if you get what I mean. If you're interested in tech startups, I've been in this space for a very long time. So comment more venture studios, holding companies, tech startups, and I'll make more videos on this because there's a lot that I can say about it. So let's say you have a little bit more money than the money it takes to franchise a company. You can buy a company and focus on building and scaling it. The great thing about not having to start from scratch and building companies or white labeling companies is that you already know it works, and it's just easier. But then there's another, thrill, another like fulfillment that you get from starting from scratch. But anyway, so there's a girl called Cody Sanchez that talks a lot about building. Oh, sorry. There's a woman called Cody Sanchez that talks a lot about buying up small businesses. What's happening right now is the biggest wealth transfer. So a lot of people in their 50s, 60s have boring businesses like laundry mats, laundry companies, plumbing companies or whatever. Things that actually now is very valuable because AI can't automate it. Cleaning companies, for example. And they want to retire and their kids don't want to take over the business. So what can they do? Either they sell the business or they basically let it die. And so there's a lot of people that are buying up these businesses because they know there's opportunity there, they know it's already making money, it works as a system, and they focus on taking it to the next level. You can obviously do this for digital businesses as well. And people think that you need all the money to buy a company, and that may be something that you're thinking. You don't necessarily need all the money. Seller financing and creator financing. So there's different ways where you can use other people's money and your own to acquire a company. So I think it's about relationships really and talking to the seller. So maybe you have a little bit of money, you give it to the seller and you talk to the seller and say, hey, is it okay if I pay you the rest of the money through the revenue or the profit that we make as I take over the company and scale it? Some will say yes, some will say no. Or you might do a deal with someone else that has more money and let them, be involved, but say that I'm going to do the work. I just need you to also help me like finance this, and you get like X% or something like that. So there's so many different ways to go about achieving your goal. I think it's about identifying what you want, why you want it, and just planning. There's also the real estate business model. I don't know enough about it, but maybe like rentals, Airbnb. Again, there's kind of creative ways to go about acquiring those properties, but I don't know enough, so I'm not going to go too deep into it. But you can also do coaching and education type businesses. And this is what I did in the beginning. I taught students how to write strong personal statements, how to get into uni, and I made good money from doing that. I just switched because I wanted to, learn more. I was young then. But I think teaching people your own transformation is a really straightforward way to go about building a business, because it's also something that's personal to you as well. Like, I fully understand the pain of having to write a strong personal statement when you come from a background that no one went to uni and you're not supported. You don't have the confidence to do it. And I understand the pain. I feel the pain. I went through the pain. I transformed. I got the result. And I'm like, I want to go and help my younger self. I talked about this earlier. But people usually pay for, I think, anything to help them make more money, wealth, anything to help them make them more healthy, health, relationships, how do I find a partner? And I think there's something else, but I kind of forgot what that was. Okay, let's go into the next one, which is community-led businesses. So let's say you're a people person, you have a lot of friends, you like to meet new people, you want to build something, but you don't know what yet. You can build a community. And this is also something that I did before as well. So you could start a podcast, you could start a YouTube channel, you could start doing events, or start a WhatsApp group even. The main thing is to bring a certain group of people together. So it could be something to do with your passion, or you could choose a specific niche. Bring them together, build trust with them, just be friends with them, get it to a certain stage, maybe 100 to 200 people, and then just have one-on-one conversations with all of them. Ask them, what challenges they're facing, things like that, or they will naturally talk about it as well in the community. You'll hear things that they keep discussing. You'll see the pattern, and then you can be like, oh, okay, this is what they're facing. Can I build a solution to help them? Can I do something to help them? And because you have your community set, because people know, like, and trust you already, when you build out your solution, when you bring it to them, they're going to be so much more likely to buy because they know, like, and trust you, like I said. And you'll know what to build, because through building community, getting to know your friends, your people, you know what they need. There's also a new thing coming up of like AI, AI solopreneurs, I guess. I am right now diving deep into this space. I'm still learning every single day about how AI is affecting this world. Yeah, it's again for another video. But is it possible that you'll have one person handling a lot of AI agents to build their own business, and you only need like you and you managing the AI agents? 100% I believe that. And there are lots of agencies right now that are leveraging AI tools to help them achieve goals. For example, lead generation agencies, sales agencies, things like that. And yeah, AI is going to come, it's already here, it's going to get better. Either you learn when you can, use the tools, do what you can to figure out how you want to adapt into this world. Like I'm very like I work with a company that focuses on transitioning into the world, the future of work, and we're always talking about how the world is going to be like after AI and what we need to do to adapt. And I'm so grateful that I get to be in these rooms and have these conversations all the time. But if you're not, I would try to do that because it's better to be ahead than it is to be behind. It's just what I think. My friend explains like when it comes to tech, you've got this bell curve. You've got the people that are building it and they're the first to see it and be like, okay, I know AI is the future and I'm going to build now. Like these guys like 10 years ago, they knew AI was going to be the future and they started building 10 years ago. And then you've got people that are like, later on, they see people building stuff, but it's still like scrappy, doesn't really look good, isn't pretty, but they're like, I can see where this is going. Like I want to know more, I want to learn more. That's me. I'm always like, when it comes to blockchain, when it comes to like AI, I'm kind of that person where like, this doesn't look good, but I think it could be something. And then you've got people that are later ahead where they will start doing stuff when they will start using AI when most people are using AI. And then you've got like the people at the very tail end where they're like against AI until they just are forced to use it or they have no option other than to use it. So yeah, that's it. Which one is you? There is no right answer. I hope that this breakdown makes you think about where you want to go and what's out there. And please, please, please comment if there's anything that I can help you with when it comes to what you want to learn in the future of work, when it comes to the different business models. And yeah, like if you need help when it comes to building a personal brand, if you need help when it comes to, adapting to the future of work, careers, business, I don't know, what should I call myself? Your gal? What is that what they say? That sounds so weird. Okay, I take that. That does not sound like me. Business bestie, portfolio career bestie. I'll figure it out. But yeah, like, comment, subscribe. See you next time.